clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage before kickoff on April 27th. Not heading downtown for the spring game? Visit the Highball Bar for daily specials, live music, and much more. Spend your spring game Saturday just north of 11th and O and within walking distance of Memorial Stadium at the Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The University of Nebraska Rodeo Association is excited to announce the 2024 Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo. Come on out to the Sandhills Global Event Center May 3rd and 4th. Cheer on your University of Nebraska Rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon, kids attend free with purchase of adult general admission ticket at the door. Advanced tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Tickets also available at the Fort, South 56th in Lincoln. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo, May 3rd and 4th.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, DP? We are live. This is Old School. We are live at 1040 O Street. We hope everybody is safe and sound after the, I think it had tornado touchdown north of Lincoln and obviously moving towards Waverly. So if you're able to listen, hopefully you guys are safe and sound. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 2 Lincoln locations, 168th and Maple up there in the O. We are on a Friday, spring game eve, night number 2 of the NFL draft. We have a big game tonight that we'll be having on the pregame show at 7:30, first serve at 8:30, Omaha Supernovas on CBS tonight, live, Nation, showing everybody what they're made of, trying to bounce back after a tough loss out there in San Diego, trying to defend home court, and then obviously earn their way into the playoffs. So even better, high-pressure professional volleyball will be called by our very own Derek Lamont Pearson. And Coach Renee.
There's so many people that really think that's really your middle name.
I know. And Coach Renee Saunders, they do a great job. And obviously Rico will be on the helping produce it, but then he'll give some of his thoughts and views as well. So a lot of stuff going on for us. And then DP, it's on the spring game eve. Matt Rule talked yesterday and said that what did he say? He said the offense will be in the, I'm just looking at notes here, offensive linemen in gray jerseys will play both teams, and they have thud kickoffs with it. That's normal. You don't want to do that. But he said they're going to be footballing tomorrow. So what's your expectations? Obviously, people are going to be, we know everybody's going to be fawning over the quarterback play and all this other stuff. And I always tell people your spots are probably earned long before you step out there, or you'd like to think that, they've earned them and are in the process of earning them before you get out there Saturday, tomorrow. But what are your expectations?
I just want to see big dudes play well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I want to see big dudes play well. Look, we know 7-on-7, they get work. Right? Passing game gets work.
Right.
And you know how that's going to look. Timing at 7-on-7 without pressure on quarterback, advantage offense. You know that.
Yeah.
But the real telltale is when you decide to put them hats to pads, can you move bodies?
Yeah.
And then can you get tempo running the football?
Sure.
Like, I'd like to believe that, there's some success running the football so that when we throw the ball, it's added value rather than necessity.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Show me that the bigs got better on both sides of the ball. Show me that the young guys who put in the work, they've tried to change their bodies a little bit. You see them walking around Lincoln. They look a little different, little bit more grown man face.
Sure.
Instead of baby faces. But yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the big boys for me in a spring game, because if you tell me you're building all of this around being a physical team, that's how you're going to do it.
Yeah, I like that. I think they have more depth. I think, you heard reports last year that some of the young players, young offensive linemen, were progressing pretty well, and some of the guys that were early enrollees from this class this year have transitioned pretty well. So you wanted to see them, go out there and perform. I mean, we have to think back last, spring. This is where we first got a big, first, I guess, real glimpse of Cam Leonhardt, Princewell, and even Noonan before he obviously got hurt. You were like, man, these guys are transitioning pretty well. The recruiting is for real, and so that's what you want to see again this year, and you want to see some improvement from some guys last year. I'm going to probably look for it, like you said, across the lines. I just want to see continuity. I want to see, just looking for execution. You're playing against somebody you've been going against all spring. Yes, it's a little bit different because it's not a controlled environment like practice. It's a little bit more uncontrolled because they'll be just calling plays, and then I'm assuming they won't be actively coaching them. Like, hey, DP, all right, be alert for the bang aid, or looking for the China. They just like calling it and see how you react, and so that's how you're able to evaluate some of these players in a somewhat game environment. So then, I just want to see ball security. I want to see receivers. I want to see when they do have to pass, play, pitch, and catch. I want to see some, good routes being run, and also being understanding that the defense is allowed, because they're on scholarship as well, to make plays, and the offense is allowed, because not allowed, but obviously be understanding that they're, they can make plays as well. And so, I mean, I think it's a scrimmage practice, but game, you want to see how guys prepare. There is more pressure. I do think there's more pressure. And I would just say like this, generally, probably in a scrimmage, there's probably just say there's 50 people there. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's 50,000 people there. Mm-hmm. So there is more pressure. So I can see, okay, well, let's see how Derek or Austin prepares. How does your, now granted, you should take every practice like game, but let's see, how do you move? How does your body language change? Is it, I want to see how guys
and
play.
Poise.
Yeah, poise, but just how you prepare for a game. What can I expect? Because there's, as much as we know some guys, right? We know Nash, we know Ty. It seems like they've been around here forever. We know Gifford. Like think they know Tommy Hill. There's guys that they know, right? But in all the other positions, and I know I'm missing some, everybody's job's on the line. And this isn't going to be the deciding factor. But if I want to get a leg up, if us three were competing for a linebacker position, and I outperform you in this game, or whatever it is, I feel like I have a leg up, because actually for me, confidence wise, and say I hadn't played before, nobody really played a lot, because you backed up two guys that played essentially seemed like 80% of the time, that I feel like I have the leg up, and that's where I'm leaving that lasting impression with you. Maybe you saw it, start to, teeter towards this way, and then boom, everything that you saw for the past 4 weeks is for real. So when you're in the discussion of who's where, you're like, hey, look, we might not have seen him that much last year, but I seen him in this spring game.
Well, it's that three-pronged approach that, one, you just want your players to do things you've coached them.
Sure.
Like, don't go out there and try to do extra.
Don't get brand new.
Don't get brand new. Right. That's part 2 in the list. Don't be brand new. Don't do anything that we haven't taught you. Don't be brand new and create some new thing that we've never done. Hey, we've never turned that bang 8 into a comeback route against that coverage. Stop it. That's not what we do. Then the other third is don't go invisible.
Yeah.
Make a play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want to have, you always say you want to have your Mr. T starter kit. You want to be active, man.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that, you know, when the play stops, you want to make sure you're in the.
It's like, oh, did you play today? Oh.
Yeah, you don't want. You don't want to be.
Yeah,
you don't want to be like the guy that could take a shower pill because you didn't break a sweat. Before we continue along, before we get to this break, we want to give thoughts and prayers out to Garner Industries. They got hit pretty hard. I think a direct hit with that tornado out there. I think it's along Nebraska Highway. I've never obviously, but I just know that they, took a sustainable hit. So hopefully everybody was safe there first and foremost, because I'm sure buildings and structures can get replaced. You can't replace the human life. So hopefully everybody's safe. And then obviously for them, they're able to recover from that. So I want to give a big shout out to them. But as far as back to the spring game goes, let's go out there and play football. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, yes, there's 50,000 people out there. There's going to be more pressure. I'm sure there's going to be, I doubt they're just going to just mosey on out there. They might go through the tunnel walk. I think if, I wouldn't bring out the smoke and all this other stuff, but I would definitely treat it as a game, because then I'm trying to get you used to the process. This is what time we have our pregame meal. This is what time we get together as a defense, or, like as we get ready to go out there, and then go out there and let the chips fall where they may, and then evaluate it, construct it. I'm sure they're going to have, personnel meetings afterwards. I mean, I think that's the way it goes now. And then, I would say that Monday, right? You play on Saturday, Monday. I'm not taking any time off unless, I have to. I'm getting prepared for the first game. There's no time to waste. You cannot afford to let a day slip by that you're not getting hyper-focused for the season.
I think a lot of it is on a day like on scrimmage, especially spring games around the country. You have a plan. Coaches have a plan. Players have a plan. And it's the great evaluator, right? That you get to see things in real time. Real time. How does a player move? Look, he's a practice superstar. Can he do it under the lights? Can he do it against the ones? Can he do it consistently? All those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done with it, for the coaches, you get to see everybody in like situations. Like you get to see, running back number 3 is actually a half a step faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, let's reevaluate. Or our 1A isn't getting off the way we thought.
Yeah.
That may be a space where from a coaching staff you go, okay, let's reassess, redevelop, reaffirm, whatever it is we see. So tomorrow's a big day for a lot of people, just to be seen. It's a great confirmation and reaffirmation.
Sure.
That,
I mean, there's a lot to it.
That all that weight, all that pumping weight was good. All the nutrition, change of diet was good. I'm getting the right rest. I'm putting the right amount of time in the playbook. My film study's good. I'm getting from it what I need to. Oh, and by the way, I think I played at 60%. They think I played at 40.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot to it. You're kind of showcasing the work that you did in the winter conditioning, and then obviously through spring ball. Then you want to see improvement from, say, like a player you saw last year to this year. You want to see the team improvement. I think it goes without saying they're going to be a better football team. I think then you get to see the plethora of receivers that were all recruits, or then you get some guys in through the transfer portal. I don't know how much they'll play, but the receiving core of the room is totally different just from guys that have made plays during spring, where Matt Rule talked about in his press conferences or whatever, and guys that potentially could make plays tomorrow. And so, it's kind of like the combine, where you always hear about how do you approach the combine? Well, you want to reaffirm what people think about you coming into the combine. So then that means the spring game. But for somebody that say like, and I've been in this position before where, I started out 7th on the depth chart. I had 7 plays the first week. Brother was hot. I mean, that was back when we had 5 practices, or we only got 2 days off. So our thing was on them 20 practices were in 4 weeks. So I wasn't getting any plays. So, but then so if you were in a position like I was at one point in time, you want in my case, it would be Coach Samuel and Coach McBride, right? My position coach and coordinator, to have to go back and say, let me check out this dude. What did we miss? So it's.
And there are a ton of players who need tomorrow to smack them on the behind to get them moving in the right direction.
And that was the third one I'm going to go to. It might be a guy that might say, like, I always ask people, like, how you made it to big time, now you're going to chill? This is when you're going to, I'm thinking this is when you drop the hammer down. Well, then maybe you need a wake-up call.
Well, that dude in front of Jay Foreman went, uh-oh.
Yeah, or I mean,
Foreman coming, I better get back in the lab.
But sometimes it might be too late. So, there's a lot on the line, and it's just a process of getting towards the season. But I think once the game is over, then you get to start to really train with a attainable goal as a team, as a position group, and as an offense and defense and special teams unit. So great things. We're going to take a quick break, come back. We're going to dive into the draft, which was last night. We're going to see winners and losers. The first and foremost, we're going to talk about what that conversation was with Arthur Blank and my man Fontenot.
He was working.
Listen. When you look in the war room, everybody stands up and they're dapping up because they think they have the player. This is a great pick. It never does work out because we talked about the hit rate. That conversation right there made my sphincter muscle tighten up because I felt for the brother. Because when the billionaire comes down out of his office, because his office is up there just chilling, he said, listen, explain to me why I'm getting calls from other owners. Convince me and the damage is done. We're going to talk about that next because I don't know how much longer my man's going to be employed. So Jay Foreman, DP Austin, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
2024 wheat harvest is upon us, agriculture at its finest. Schemper Harvesting is a custom harvesting operation out of Holdridge that is starting to build a crew for the 2024 season that harvests crops from Texas to Montana starting May 15th. Drive trucks from field to market and operate combines and tractors pulling grain carts. Room and board is provided with a competitive wage. Take an adventure and join them for the upcoming harvest and do something others wish they would have done. Call JC at 308-999-2973 or apply online at schemperharvesting.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
The University of Nebraska Rodeo Association is excited to announce the 2024 Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo. Come on out to the Sandhills Global Event Center May 3rd and 4th. Cheer on your University of Nebraska Rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon, kids attend free with purchase of adult general admission ticket at the door. Advance tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Tickets also available at the Fort South 56th in Lincoln. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo May 3rd and 4th.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour, every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
I'm Dave Austed. And I'm Ryan Austed. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made is going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Austed's.
The Sea of Red will fill Memorial Stadium on Saturday for the Red-White Spring Game. Start your day off right with the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. All your favorite ticket personalities will prepare you for what to watch and players to keep track of. It's the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, and statewide on TV at Allo 961.
School tells you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's a way we really tell what time of year it is. Sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or even off season. Well, what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now, of course. And now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season, y'all. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com. See you there.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first.
That sounds like a match made in heaven.
Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh man. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, DP, we're back. Old school. We're gonna dive into the draft. I want to say it again. Hopes and prayers for the people everybody that was affected with the weather today, but in particular Garner Industries took the big hit. So I want to make sure to send some thoughts out to them, because we're very fortunate to be here and be live. And I always look at it, man, like we're fortunate to wake up and walk and chew gum.
We're the storytellers in this thing. We're supposed to let people know and remind them, hey, listen, it's out there.
Yeah, those people. I mean, we knew it was coming, but
nobody thinks
it's them.
Nobody thinks that it can find us or gonna find us or it's looking for us. No. Shout out to the folks from Garner Industries,
and
folks in Blair, Bennington, and North Omaha, and in various parts of Lincoln. This thing is real. It's legit. Please take care of yourselves and others.
Yes. And anyways, the draft was last night. I think obviously everybody knew that Caleb Williams was probably going to go number one, probably all the way back. I think he told on the Bears a little bit. He said 5 months ago. Ryan Bowles said that he's been sitting on it for a week or something like that, or 5 weeks, right? And Caleb Williams was like, it was about 5 months. So he went number one. There's some winners and losers last night, but I think that we talked about it, DP. Who were some of the players that were gonna get picked way too high? We'll get into that. But who was gonna be the team that was gonna do something that doesn't make any sense, that you can't convince a NFL board of, say, like Ron Wolf? You put Joe Gibbs in there. The guys that have always drafted, Ozzie Newsome and all these guys that are known at Bill Polian. You couldn't convince one of them of what the Atlanta Falcons did last night. And so there's always one team. And we always thought, we said it was either going to be who? Chicago, the Commanders, or the Raiders.
Yep.
And turns out they all did the right thing. So then we got to have a dummy.
Here they
right?
come.
And we don't know, we don't necessarily know if they're dummies, but in this offseason now, they hired a new coach. And if you listen to Raheem Morris's first team meeting, it was on point. You could tell why he was the pick. Maybe there was other factors why they didn't take Belichick, but you could see why he was the pick. Lock and step, Fontenot having a history and all that, been there before, fits Atlanta. Then they go in the offseason, right? And they kind of surprise people where Minnesota asked Kirk Cousins for a hometown discount. He actually was willing to give him. Well, then his agent must have called, somehow got a call from Atlanta, down there from Ludacris and company. And he got a contract, 4 years, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed. Now, we don't know how much that hard cash is guaranteed, but I'm sure it's $80 million because I'm sure he's making $40 million fully guaranteed and $40 next year fully guaranteed. So they had Dylan Ritter that they drafted in the second round prior. So you think like, okay, you got a starter, you got somebody that we put a lot of money into, right? Right? You watch the quarterback show. He showed flashes, but he just isn't ready. Now, then they said, we'll get Kirk Cousins. He can help bring back Kyle Pitts. You got London. Who's the running back from Texas?
Bijan
Robinson, who's off the charts. Then they have the running back from BYU. That's
catch and run guy.
Yeah, Lanier. And he's a physical guy. He ran for 1,000 years. So you have the guy. You have what you need. So Atlanta probably needs what? Grady Jarrett's a little bit older. Do you need an outside pass rusher? You drafted well linebacker. You got okay corners. Probably need some safety help. But you need a defensive lineman, right? Or an offensive lineman. Why do you need a defensive line? One, to sack the quarterback. You need an offensive lineman. Why? To protect the $180 million quarterback, that you signed that's just coming off an Achilles injury, right?
Making too much sense here, GM Foreman.
Captain Kirk. So guess what the two dudes that get paid millions of dollars decide to do? And we're going to take Michael Penix, who I said yesterday I thought was going to be the best. I want to ask you this, DP. How does it, I'm going to ask you yes or no, or if I'm off. I think that pick right there, right, for Atlanta, ruined 2 careers in 10 minutes. Why? Because I think now you don't get the best Kirk Cousins. Now he's looking over his shoulder, right? Because Kirk Cousins is going to get paid where he's a well-respected. He could go get that money anywhere, right? And then now you can't tell me you have a legitimate plan for Michael Penix Jr. because if Kirk Cousins plays close to what he played in the last 4 or 5 years, he ain't getting off the bench. No time soon. And by the time you play him, you're probably not going to want to pick up his 5th-year option because that's going to be 30 or 40 million. You're going to say, you know what? Kind of like Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. And then you don't have any film. And then you know what? There's going to be another quarterback coming. Am I way off or am I on target here?
Well, there's some other casualties of it, right? That if you're the premier young tight end in the NFL and you see mom and dad fighting, the owner and the GM are fighting because they don't know what's best for Pitts.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So Pitts, no matter how this plays out, he takes a step back because he doesn't have a guy. He doesn't have a guy. You know who else is a casualty of this thing? Whose career may have ended? GM. GM got a conversation that his wife was texting him the whole time he was on TV. Baby, you good? You okay? You need me to come down there? You need what you need. Right? And then the owner. Because you were in a space where you either conceded the power to make that decision and it went horribly, or you didn't know about the decision and it went horribly. You gave your word to some of your best players about what you were going to do and what they thought was best for the team, and it went horribly.
Yeah.
And then, oh, by the way, you've got a head coach that's sitting there with he's there. He just remarried and he thought he moved up in the world. and he's in his house now, and the in-laws are at it.
Yeah, he got Raheem Morris looked like he was in the black version of Get Out.
Yep. Like what
did you just do to me?
What did you what the possibility? And immediately, and it's always funny. So again, your media folks talk, and in the space he just went, "Oh man," and I hadn't thought of it, but he goes, "Oh man, they just Brett Favre that thing," and they went, "Oh, they did, because when Favre was brought into Atlanta as the backup, but the future, and they said, okay, but the real value is what we'll be able to get for him when it's time to move him will be greater than that spot," and he just went, "Wow."
But that's not. But see, times have changed, and I was talking to Austin about this before. Is that I don't think teams value draft picks anymore because they are turning over players so quickly. Like the fact that you drafted 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks or whatever it was lets you know that you're so desperate, you'll keep drafting quarterbacks. I mean, New England, who we're going to get into Bill Belichick in the 5 o'clock hour. It can't draft to get out of their own way. But now you got Atlanta, and I'm just looking at their depth chart. Listen to this offense that we have here. Okay, you got Kirk Cousins. Okay, that's a legitimate starter. Bijan Robinson, legit. Tyler Algier, legit. Great backup. So good that they let Patterson go as he was a running back returner, right? Great player, right? So yeah, you got Drake London. Okay, I view him as number 1. Darnell Mooney, legit number 2. Rondell Moore, legit. Kyle Pitts, you want the best, right? Fullback Robert Burns, he's the only one on the roster, but he's a special teams guy and a blocker. Jake Matthews, Pro Bowler. Bergeron, first round pick or second round pick, legit starter. Dahlman, legit. Lindstrom, Pro Bowler. McGarry, who came from Washington, legit potential pro. That's an offense right there where you're thinking why we got Kirk Cousins, because we can take over the AFC South and compete with Tampa Bay, right? We're going to be better in Carolina. We think we got a better offensive unit than New Orleans, and their defense is getting aged. Okay, we just got to beat Tampa, right? And we're probably thinking, oh, Tampa's full scope. Okay, now let's look at here defense right here. Okay, we're going to start on the back end just so we can get a little hype. AJ Terrell, legit corner, Pro Bowler. DeMarco Halems, legit. Jesse Bates, Pro Bowler, big get from Cincinnati. Clark Phillips III, legit. Here, guess who's your backup? Mike Hughes, former first rounder. Richie Grant, legit. D. Alford, legit. So your back end's good. Okay, we're going to even say Grady Jarrett, stalwart. You can't get rid of him, right? Zach Harrison, I like him. Taquan Graham, ascending player. David Onyemata, ascending player, with even Eddie Goldman, who was from the Chicago Bears, legitimate starter there, as their backup. So you like the depth there, right? And you got Contavious Street, who showed flashes last year. Now let's look at these linebackers here. So if you ain't think about drafting, or even here's what you could have done: traded down, drafted a linebacker, right, or outside pass rusher, right? You could even got my man from Western Michigan, Nealon, right? We could have got him, right, Austin? Right? Listen to these dudes: James Smith Williams, garbage. Caden Ellis, double garbage. Troy Anderson, actually a good draft pick, led the team in tackles. Lorenzo Carter, who they got from the Giants, by the way of Georgia Bulldogs, i.e. Terrell Farley, second university, good player. You could have got your need, but you chose to double down on a quarterback, talking about the future. Hello, Fontenot. There is no future in the NFL anymore.
Future should be now.
That's what I'm saying. If you're drafting for the future, you're drafting for you to get fired.
Is it possible in any way, shape, or form that he actually thinks Penix is better than Cousins?
No. Here's why I would fire you. If you are Fontenot and you come in there and tell me this, that you think Penix Jr. is going to start with a healthy Kirk Cousins after this year, so that means within a year, I'm firing you on the spot. Here's why. Then why did you spend $180 million of my money?
The contract part of it is fascinating, right? Because there are people, even without the Penix part of the discussion, still were fascinated by the whole Atlanta Kirk Cousins thing.
Right.
Like, we were just in Atlanta, and when you land at the airport, the biggest thing you see is a 20-foot billboard welcoming Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
Right.
Like this was supposed to be.
You overpaid for Kirk Cousins.
This was the thing. And then you immediately follow that question with the idea that, whoa, we need another dude.
You know what this reminds me of, DP? When the Raiders signed with Josh McDaniels, signed Jimmy G, and he was hurt, and it came all the way down to the physical, and it didn't work. I think Kirk Cousins is light years better than him, but then they have Aiden O'Connell right now. Here's where I would give them the caveat.
Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying Aiden O'Connell last year.
Yeah,
right. They got Gardner Minshew now from the Colts or from the Eagles. Here's where I would give them a little bit of leeway, but this only happens in the NBA. If I drafted Michael Penix and I traded him tonight to the Raiders for a second-round pick now and, say, a future first round in 25 or 26. Mm-hmm. All right, I like what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. But that happens in the NBA. You know, the Timberwolves draft him. His rights will be traded to Charlotte in 2 days. This is an idiot move, man. I mean, I hate saying it because I wanted to work out for Atlanta. I like their team. But you just wasted an opportunity to improve your team. You could have traded down and got drafted. You could have traded out of the first round to save some money.
It's just bad. Like you don't go into that draft with that as an option.
Right. And we got a good texter here, 6904. He said Jordan Love was drafted as a future. It's different. You already had Aaron Rodgers, who was already with 1 foot out the door, and he is a Hall of Famer, established in Green Bay.
But Green Bay was in a better spot than Atlanta was.
That's what I'm saying.
Green Bay was in a contender's position.
Right.
I didn't like the move for Green Bay. I didn't like it.
Me neither.
I didn't like it. No, go get Brett Favre. Go get Aaron Rodgers. Go get all these quarterbacks, somebody that can play with them right now. Go get Kirk Cousins, another weapon.
I loved it because it took him off Indy's board, but
that is such a true statement out loud.
Real quick before we go to break, here's the problem I have with Green Bay when they did it. Is you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, and not once did you spend a first-round pick on something that he needs, tight end or receiver or lineman, right?
Yep.
But you went around and got his future replacement, which then forced you to make a decision between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. If you don't get Jordan Love, right, and say you draft the guy in the 3rd and 4th round and develop him, you got both of them. The history of the Green Bay Packers is different, but yes, Jordan Love worked out. It does not work like that all the time.
Well, you burned 3 years of a good contender run.
Right.
Look, that's a huge sacrifice.
Right. And then you took away from other parts of your team based on what you had to do to investment. So anyways, it's still a great text though. But I think the Atlanta Falcons looked at themselves and saw Green Bay. The reflection came over, and you look like the Detroit Lions from about 10 years ago. Anyways, Jay Foreman, DP, Austin, quick break, quick 7 at the bottom of the hour. Then we're going to get into Bill Belichick, his draft personality. Did we like it? Is it something in the future? I don't know. Anyways, we'll think. Everybody on the text line, let us know what you thought. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, DP. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and Jay on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
The Sea of Red will fill Memorial Stadium on Saturday for the Red-White Spring Game. Start your day off right with the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. All your favorite Ticket personalities will prepare you for what to watch and players to keep track of. It's the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, and statewide on TV at Allo 961.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at member. For requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first.
That sounds like a match made in heaven.
Members-Owned Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at membersowncu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane. Grab a free burger and beer at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game Tailgate. Meet the Elway Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
The need in our community, if you just look at the numbers, it's frightening. We're serving over 1,000 kids every day. With the passion of our people, I really feel like our potential to be of even greater service to kids and families who are struggling is just unlimited. But in order to have the greatest impact, we need all the help we can get from the community.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage before kickoff on April 27th. Not heading downtown for the spring game? Visit the Highball Bar for daily specials, live music, and much more. Spend your spring game Saturday just north of 11th and O and within walking distance of Memorial Stadium at the Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, DP. He has left us and he's about to get ready to have safe travels up to Omaha. Hey, we had the fan cake.
You didn't even make it on. He was outside the range.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah, he looked in there. It looked like people looked in there like, oh, there's humans. You know, like we're statues or something. But DP's heading up to Omaha with Rico to get on the call with Coach Renee Saunders for the Omaha Supernovas, playing tonight on the Ticket. Pregame show at 7:30. Live action first serve at 8:30. It will be on CBS, so they're going to be live in effect. And so it's a great. It's a great thing for the brand. It's a great thing for the Omaha Supernovas. We're hoping they pull through and inch themselves closer to the playoffs, but then also for women's professional volleyball, being on a national televised game is huge. So, anyways, Austin, real quickly, we'll get into it maybe a little bit more in the 5 o'clock hour. On a scale of 1 to 7, 7 being great, 1 being horrible, what do you give Mr. Bill Belichick in his first NFL draft debut?
Analysis is like a 2.5 to a 3.
Yeah.
But the Randy Moss story was like a 5+.
Yeah.
He balanced it out. It wasn't perfect as a rocky debut, but I can see the outline of a useful analyst.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he started a little slow, and then I think Bill Belichick is more personable than what people give him credit for. I think he's one of those guys that just is so focused on when he's coaching. He's a coach, right? I think now, as he has a year off, I think you're going to see it, especially with Pat McAfee. I think it's the perfect combination. And Pat McAfee going to get anybody loosen up, and I think you'll see Bill Belichick start to flourish a little bit. Now, do I think he'll morph into a TV guy for the rest of his career? I think he could if he wanted to, but I don't think he wants to. But I think this year will be good for him. I think it'll bring out, a little bit more of his personality.
What do you make of Belichick getting on TV before Brady, right? Because Brady was the one with the big deal with Fox, but it's Belichick we see first.
No, then because the football season ain't started. And I think it's a short spurt of a week. And I think Brady's deal set. You didn't see Romo or anything like that. I like Bill Belichick actually probably better than Joel Klatt. I still hold a grudge against Joel Klatt because he was first of all, he's from Colorado.
Yeah.
And he's a quarterback. And number 3, he shoved Scott Frost down everybody's throat halfway through the season before. Thought it was disrespectful for the prior coach.
Yeah. Also, Saban was pretty good.
Saban's phenomenal.
I thought Saban was better than Belichick.
Oh, for sure. He's been there and done it. He's great. He's got the personality for it. He's built for it. He has the look. I mean, he'll be great at it. It'll keep him close enough to the game where he doesn't have to go back and coach. So I don't think Bill Belichick is ready to do that. I think he's got some more wins to get. But I think as
15 of them, right?
Yep, 16. He wants to get 16, and I think as he got going, I think he got better. I'm looking forward to possibly seeing him tonight, and I think it'll be better. And you got to think, look, it's something he's never done before. Probably a little nervous, apprehensive. Probably not nervous, more apprehensive. So I think he adjusted just like he did when he was a coach.
And I heard this from a couple people kind of breaking down their performances, is that it's so hard to treat those guys. I mean, 2 of the top, coaches, top 5 coaches at least at their level of all time. But when they're on the broadcast, you can't revere them, right? They have to be just like any other broadcast partner. And that's got to be tough even for the people on stage with them to not defer, to not just nod and go along, but to actually not be afraid to challenge them and make them feel like they're part of the team, not set apart from it.
And you saw Nick Saban challenge some of those guys like, oh, that's not how it goes. So I just think it's great, and it might be good for, Nick's been there before, whereas Bill he's going to learn how to defer to other people that have more experience in doing things like this. And I think it might help him coach a little bit better, or see the game from a different view. So anyways, I thought it was decent. Obviously Drake May got broke down a little bit, but that's just part of, being on there. And I think what he said about Drake May generally is what everybody thought. Had a really good junior year, had better assets now because you had Downs, who's with the Colts. You had NFL guys. You had an NFL running back, NFL lineman.
Didn't get Tez Walker cleared for a while.
And that was in and out. And he still threw for 4,000 yards, ran for 400. So he didn't have that shabby. But I think North Carolina was a better team the year prior. So, anyways, first hour down. We're going to get at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to give our draft grades. We're going to see who did good. What do we expect tonight? And then moving into the weekend, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 30th is buy one, get one free on New York strips, limit 4 per visit. Also 15% off koozie chips and nuts. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
The Sea of Red will fill Memorial Stadium on Saturday for the Red-White Spring Game. Start your day off right with the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. All your favorite ticket personalities will prepare you for what to watch and players to keep track of. It's the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, and statewide on TV at Allo 961.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made is going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
The Red White Spring Game is coming soon. Do you know your tailgate meal for before and after the game? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate something for all Nebraskans, made in Nebraska. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you tailgate without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No spring game party or tailgate is complete without it. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Now's the time to schedule your air conditioner service check with Bryant. Make sure 7-11-11.
Gary with Gary Michaels Clothiers Lincoln. I'm here to tell you about our custom shirt program. When you come into the store, we measure your chest, mid-waist, and sleeve length. Enter the measurements in an app, and we create your data fit size. You then try on one of our 99 data fit shirts for the proper fit. After that, pick out the fabric, collar, cuff, placket, and in roughly 2 weeks, your shirts are delivered at the same cost of buying off the rack. And by the way, the neck fits too. Gary Michaels Custom Shirts at 56th and Pine Lake Road, Lincoln.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card Spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. 5 o'clock hour. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, DP is on his way up there to the O to call the game for the Omaha Supernovas tonight. Pre-game at 7:30. First serve is at 8:30. Live in effect on the ticket. Tune in. Pre-game show. DP, Coach Renee Saunders, and Rico. And then Coach Renee Saunders and DP will be live with the call. And right now, we're going to call a spade, hopefully. We're going to talk about the draft. And we're going to go over, Austin, Mel Kiper's winners and losers and values, right? And the head scratchers. We already talked about Atlanta Falcons, and they will be talked about at nauseum tonight. They will be getting all the smoke
until minicamp,
and they will be getting it all year. So just get ready, batten down the hatches down there at Flowery Branch in Atlanta. Mel Kiper's big winners from round one, the Chicago Bears, and that's obviously you get hopefully your franchise quarterback who is very confident in himself, and also the pieces that they've put in place before he got there. And they got Rome Odunze, who people thought immediately after a college football playoffs and all through the draft, and especially after the combine, that he was as good. And a lot of people thought that he was better than Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think getting him at 9 is a value pick, because you would think that he would be a top 5 pick.
It sure can be considered a value pick. I don't love it for the Bears because their defense still has some work. So I wouldn't have been shocked to see them, let it ride with just getting Keenan Allen in the offseason.
Yeah.
Another year, DJ Moore.
Cole Kmet.
And then, Cole Kmet still around. And just, say, hey, that's a pretty good group for Caleb Williams to work with. We got other holes. Let's trade back into the first round, trade out of the rest of the first round, get more picks for later in the draft. But to have a young quarterback and a young receiver come in at the same time, be able to work together, that's also not a bad strategy necessarily. So I see the pathway in getting 2 potential top 5 guys.
Yeah,
kind of like what Houston did last year,
yeah.
but different second position.
Yeah, and they got this pick from Houston. So I like it. I like it because the one thing, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm pissed off. Number one, the all of a sudden I'd leave. Now, whether you can think whatever you want about Justin Fields, maybe they felt like he never would get to be the guy, and they always had their sights on Caleb Williams because of the way that the teams project potentially where they could be, and so they knew quite early in the season they'll probably be picking number 1. The addition of Keenan Allen after his best year as a Charger, and he's going into Hall of Fame without a doubt. DJ Moore, who I think had a connection with Justin Fields and started to really flourish, and that's where probably Justin Fields' frustration is coming from. Cole Kmet, who is a ascending tight end, right in that second tier behind Kelsey and all that, right, and Kittle, those are the top guys, and then Kmet's there, and so you think and hope Caleb Williams, with his ability to create plays in the pocket, outside the pocket, off schedule, sneaky good athlete, he's definitely dual threat. He can kill you in the run game. We've seen it when he was at USC and Oklahoma. They've had a good draft. For the Bears fans, you should feel good that they made a decision, whether you like it or not, with the coach and the GM. They did their due diligence in the draft. They drafted well. And let's see what they, at least last night, see what they do. The next team, which is up in the air, is the Minnesota Vikings. They got J.J. McCarthy, who Mel Kiper loves, and they got Dallas Turner. I think they got more value in Dallas Turner because I think I view Dallas Turner as a top 10 pick versus 17. Obviously, the way the draft went, everybody slid. So I think they gained some there. And you got J.J. McCarthy. You like him because of who he played for in college and what he was asked to do, and also the pieces around him. And so we'll see what the Vikings do, but I think they had a pretty good draft for them as well.
I do too. I don't love giving up 4 picks for a guy. That's a lot who's unproven, but if you're right and his ceiling is as high as it seems like it could be, then it'd be silly not to give that capital up for an edge rusher who can be there for 7 to 10 years and help you at least keep pace with, and not even improve on the rest of the division.
And see that what you're talking about, they gave 23. And then they gave up the 167th pick, which is okay. And then they gave up 3rd and 4th rounds in 2025. Here's why they do this, Austin, is because they'll get comp picks back for Danielle Hunter and Kirk Cousins. Okay. And so the better that they play, they'll be able to replenish those potentially.
The better the pick is.
Okay. So you don't lose much. And so they're projecting that one or both plays better, and that's what you'll get in return. So it was a big haul to go up there, but I think, as you saw, Kevin O'Connell, he was elated. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that they had a good one. They got Troy Futanu, who's a tackle from Washington, is going to project to go into the guard. This is a guy who I thought maybe Chicago should have traded down or out of the first round, or not out of the first round, but out of the first 15 picks to get. Because how do you help a quarterback? Offensive line. Maybe there'll be more players, but I think Pittsburgh, for a need for them, you could tell right now what they're trying to do. They're going to get back to being physical. Now. They're going to get back into play action package. They're just letting you know the offseason. Russell Wilson still has some juice in his legs. Justin Fields, the way that they kind of stayed pat, they're going to get back to that ground and pound. So if you're in that AFC North, Pittsburgh's coming with that defense. They're going to try to be physical. I think it's a great pick.
I do too. The Polynesian thing with Polamalu kind of stands out to me there. But outside of Alt, who I think was pretty clearly the number one tackle for most people, there wasn't much separation between Latham at 7, Mims at 18, and then Fatanu at 20. So for this guy to be, in the running for the second best tackle, and he's the fourth one off the board, if you're looking for that identity, go snag the man.
I mean, he's a great athlete too. And he gives you position flexibility. He could be a right tackle, it could be left to right guard. But I think what Pittsburgh's going to try to do with their kind of, thunder and lightning backfield, he gives you options as far as, the G pulls and stuff like that. Kind of like where Alan Faneca, he played a lot of tackle at LSU, came in the guard, Hall of Famer. And trust me, I saw him up close in person. That dude was good. He was excellent. Listen here, Jacksonville Jaguars, you lost Calvin Ridley, right? But they drafted the guy, Brian Thomas, who I think is a great receiver. Kind of always, took a backseat to Neighbors, but he led the nation in touchdowns. So I like guys that can score and he can separate. But before we talk about Brian Thomas going to Jacksonville and Jacksonville doing a good job of, replacing and replenishing the loss of Calvin Ridley, Brian Thomas' parents had the best interview in NFL draft history. If you guys haven't seen it, I reposted it or quote tweeted it or whatever it is on X about it. I said, well, what happened was they talked to his dad and he was very short, asked his mom, how far is the family how far is the family come? She said, we came from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That it was dead on with it. I like it.
Give that polite knowing smile.
Yeah. You asked, I answered. I like it though. Other teams that Mel Kiper talked about is the Commanders getting Jaden Daniels. I think that was great. And then also he talked about Drake May. He likes Drake May as a prospect, likes him better than Mac Jones. The Patriots just don't have the pass catchers at the Commanders, so he liked it. And then he was talking about the Bills. And this is where I feel like, before we get into that, Austin, I'm gonna give the Raiders a shout out. At number 13, they weren't able to, obviously, probably to trade up to get Michael Penix. Stayed pat. And maybe they can get there's some really good quarterbacks who I think that might end up being better than the first rounders and the second rounder and the third rounder possibly, but we'll get to that next. I think they got the best player in the draft, Brock Bowers. I think he's the best football player right now, plug and play, super factor right now. You had to take him. Now, I know you take Michael Mayer last year, tight end from Notre Dame, but his game is different.
Very.
So it's no skin. Now it opens up for Meyer, and it opened up for Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers gives you position flexibility, and it gives the offense actually more efficiency to be able to be sustainable. Why? Right now, if you just took the quarterbacks, they aren't scaring anybody with the quarterback position. But how do you get them to play above their ability? Attack the middle of the field. Now you can do it. And guess who else is happy about that? Devontae Adams. He's happy. But I like what the Raiders did. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of those picks that you can't afford to let the guy slip. You can't let taking a tight end in the first round in last year's draft keep you from taking another tight end in this year's draft. Because like you said, they're not the same. Like Bowers might not even meet the tight end label in the NFL. He's
a hybrid.
He's just a football player, right? Like Matt Rule would say. I'm upset at the Raiders because with every pick he kept dropping, Jay. I was waiting for him to get to 15. I was waiting. But they didn't do it, and they obviously couldn't pass him up. So, yeah, I think that's good value by the Raiders.
It's one of those things that the Raiders never thought he'd be there. I'm sure they never projected Atlanta to take Michael Penix, and In my opinion, he's the best football player out there. He's a 3-time All-American, comes straight from high school, has destroyed the whole college football landscape in the biggest or the best conference. And then at the biggest moments, he's been unstoppable.
Yeah. Even his injury didn't really slow him that much.
He still was doing work. And so that lets you know, and he's tough as nails too. And he's been challenged and coached at a pro level. Now we'll go to the head scratchers. Is first and foremost for Mel Kiper was the Atlanta Falcons. Me, you, and DP talked about that in depth. The next is Bo Nix at number 12. Now, according to Sean Payton and George Patton, their GM and head coach, obviously, that Bo Nix had the best. They took out all of his short and intermediate throws, like the bubble screens, the now routes, and all that stuff that you expect a first-round pick to be able to complete. And they talked about pressure, the pressures, the completion percentage against pressure, and in the pocket, in medium and deep throws. And they said he was the number one guy in every category. Had a great visit, top 30 visit with Sean Payton and crew, and a great pro day. Mel Kiper thinks it was a stretch. Now he's automatically getting compared to Drew Brees. Now, do they have Marquise Colston out there, who was a 7th-round pick that ended up, he's going to be one of the greatest receivers in New Orleans Saints history, and you still had a effective Joe Horn and guys like that. But on the surface, I'd like the pick, maybe not at 12, but I think at 12, with the rash of guys going early, you couldn't. I mean, you got to think the Raiders are next.
That is where I go. I almost force the Raiders' hand if I'm the Broncos. If Sean Payton really loves Bo Nix that much, okay, fine, whatever. But if you're just taking a quarterback just because you feel like you need a quarterback, again, that room is wretched right now for Denver. I'm not sold on Bo Nix. I see too much Kenny Pickett. I really do. And so for me in that position, if I'm Denver, maybe my coach likes him. I don't want to, piss my coach off too much or anything.
Yeah, because you got more longevity than you.
Right.
Yeah.
But my thought process would have been, do the Raiders need a quarterback that bad, or did the Raiders want Penix that bad? Because if they just wanted Penix that bad and they're not going to go quarterback, I absolutely trade back. Minnesota was behind. They jumped in front to go get their guy. Nobody else in the first round seems like they need the quarterback. So if I can trade back into the mid-20s, get a lot more draft value for capital other places, and still get Bo Nix, I would have called Las Vegas's bluff,
right?
And
I
dared them to take Bo Nix.
Yeah, because I think they were in love with Michael Penix Jr. I don't think they were in love with Bo Nix. I think it was a little bit early. I'm not upset because I think listening to Sean Payton, he loved him. So if your head coach loved him, and essentially, you got to give him a chance. And listen, and you know why Sean Payton loved him anymore, or even a little bit more, because he saw the dudes in the room right now. He saw Zach Wilson. Listen,
Jared Stidham.
Yeah, I seen those dudes, and it's like I always say, those dudes are what type of diarrhea? Like both of them are explosive diarrhea, in the kind that affects you all day. The Tennessee Titans, who I thought and we'll be real quick here. Tennessee Titans at number 7. I like this dude though. I'm telling you why. Here's J.C. Latham. I think he's the most physical offensive lineman, legitimate physical offensive lineman that's came out in the last 4 years. I think he is like Nelson when he came out. Listen, he gonna hurt some people, and he plays with an edge. I think he's better prospect than any of the other Alabama guys that came out, especially the one that went to New York. I think it's a little bit high for Tennessee to take him at 7, but I think Tennessee wants to get back the same thing with Pittsburgh. What do they want to do? They want to line up and punch you dead in the face. Now, it's weird that they're trying to do this now and Derrick Henry's gone, but they feel like they've upgraded the skill position, for Will Levis. I think they think Will Levis is a franchise quarterback. I like it. But I also think that they will probably get receiver help in the 2nd and 3rd round.
I need to go back and double check this, but I'm pretty sure the lasting image. Okay, I have it pulled up right here. I'm gonna let it play through. I just go back to the Rose Bowl, Michigan, Alabama, and Alabama runs that play. Latham got destroyed.
Yeah,
man.
On that play,
he got wrecked. And I get it. That's an NFL dude lining up across from him. But man, if he gets his guy,
Yeah,
maybe Bama gets that game. And I know it's not fair to grade off of one snap.
Yeah, and the
I'm
snap
just saying
was bad.
It was not a good snap, but man,
it wasn't a good play call.
You got
either.
blown up,
yeah,
young
did.
fella.
Yeah. I know it's
I know, Jay.
But listen, when you throw on that Georgia tape, he was checking IDs. He was taking your wallet, and he
also
was throwing
guys.
He was throwing guys out of the club by the back of their pants. Every single one of them Georgia dudes. Now, Michigan, I think, was on another level. But I don't like the play call.
Agreed.
I think that play call didn't help his skill set. Not making excuses for it.
Yeah.
I think he's going number 7. You should be able to make some chicken salad out of chicken, you know what?
Right. And again, I'm not being fair to him just by grading off of one play either. So I'm going to throw that out there. I'm sure he's going to be fine. But again, the value.
Yeah.
Right.
You're losing. Could you have got him later or somebody comparable? That's where I agree with you there. Yeah. I like the player, don't like where he got picked. Another guy where I like the player, don't like where he got picked is Ricky Perso, where San Francisco picked him at number 1. Here, I have a wide variety of reasons why. Number 1, you're picking him in the first round. You have a former first-round pick, Brandon Ayuk. You need to take care of who you know can play. Deebo Samuel in the back channels is on the trading block. You got Jennings, who you like. You can kind of shift from Christian McCaffrey. You can use him in that Deebo Samuel like role to actually lessen the natural, wear and tear at handing him the ball. But then you got to think you could get Mitchell. You could have got Leggett to do like Ricky or for this guy. And you could have got a guy that's almost like him, probably not as fast, Keon Coleman or somebody like. There's plenty of wide receivers. Once you get below the 30, 31, unless it's a guy that slipped because of a weed test or something, you might as well wait to round 2.
Yeah.
Now you're locked into him, all because you probably don't want to play Brandon Ayuk. You're trying to trade Deebo Samuel, who I don't think has the trade value. So I think that you're in a little bit of trouble there. So
yeah, didn't like that one either. I think Pearsall can find a role, but that's a late second, early third guy.
In the way that they play offense, it's more play action and stuff like that. So, I think that was a little bit of a stretch. So, anyways, we're a little bit, we're ahead of schedule. We're going to take a little bit of quick break. We're going to come back and talk about who possibly could go in rounds 2 and 3, who could provide some value. I think one guy that's kind of ascended through before we go to break, ascended up the draft charts, oddly enough, has obviously Caleb Williams connection to Spencer Rattler, right? Made a home for himself when he went through the transfer portal. They thought that, we had the rumors that he was in town at Nebraska, ended up at South Carolina, burst on the scene last year, played well last year, or burst on the scene last year, and then took that momentum, even with losing Marcus Satterfield, and did it again this year. And look, you had a first-round receiver, Leggett, so obviously somebody had to deliver him the mail. So we're gonna see who we think could possibly get picked in rounds 2 and 3 tonight. But we're gonna take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Education is a cornerstone to building a strong, vibrant community. I voted for the historic increase in funding for education in the legislature. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local business owners and understand the valuable role of education in our community. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th, paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
The Sea of Red will fill Memorial Stadium on Saturday for the Red-White Spring Game. Start your day off right with the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. All your favorite ticket personalities will prepare you for what to watch and players to keep track of. It's the Elway Power Sports of Lincoln Spring Game Tailgate Show from 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, and statewide on TV at Allo 961.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, old school. We are live in effect again. People out there, be safe out there. I hope everybody's safe. I know it's going up there. Texted even Rashawn. I know DP has said it's heading up to our Omaha. So hopefully everybody that's listening to us all throughout the state is safe and battling through this. I think they said it possibly could be the strongest and most devastating tornado in U.S. history.
Up there.
It's top 20 for sure. And that's not the top 20 that you want. Anyways, we got to do some sports radio. We're going to keep saying it. We want a big shout out to put your thoughts and prayers for Garner Industries. They took a pretty good hit. And then anybody else up there, I think DP said Blair, Omaha, Waverly, and anywhere else this storm has affected people. So want to make sure that we're thinking about them because what we do every day is obviously minimal to what people have to face today. But back to sports. Obviously, the draft is about to start again. And tonight again at 7, Austin?
Mm-hmm.
In a little bit of time. It won't be 3 hours and only 32 picks. Now you get about 66 to close to 70 picks with comp picks heading into for 2 hours or for 2 rounds tonight. But we're just going to talk about some of the players, Austin. You got some really good players. One that we, as a ticket, got to see courtesy of our own Aaron Davis from The Drive, who MCs the Remington Award, Jackson Powers Johnson, who has a great story, but he's even a better player. Head and shoulders, actually, has been the number 1 rated center, but the tackle from Duke, who projected to be a center, who's a stupid athlete, is a plug and play center, went first round. Barton, Jackson Powers Johnson is still available. One of my favorite names, Kool-Aid McKinstry, who everybody had thought was a first round, played like a first rounder, little bit slight, needs a little bit of refinement, but everybody does. And some other guys like Arnold and Mitchell kind of ascended, but you're getting a great value here. You're getting a first round talent early in the second round. What do you think about those two dudes?
Yeah, JPJ is going to be a really good center for a long time in the NFL. I like the athleticism and power blend. Curious to see if he's off the board early in the second round, or if teams keep trying to push their luck and get him further down the line. Don't know if he can do the Cam Jurgens thing and slide over to guard for a team with an established center and just kind of be a placeholder. But McKinstry is interesting to me. I'm sure there's some good-natured trash talking between him and Arnold last night, but then even Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him.
I don't know who I'm more surprised slipped to the second round between McKinstry or Coop.
I'd probably say Cooper, and the reason why is because, you could say, okay, he was injured, but then he came back and ran a 4.4. I mean, look, this dude is a physical corner, all right? And first of all, he's a lockdown corner, but he's a physical tackler, gives you position flexibility. He can play outside corner. He can play, or let's say he can play field corner, boundary corner. He can play in the slot. He can blitz. He can play safety. Excellent returner on special teams, and then also he can cover on special teams. He covers everything. You just don't get one play. And plus, he's a leader.
Right.
And he's a plug and play guy. It's crazy that, look, he's going to, you're getting a legitimate surefire, in my opinion, top 20 player. I don't care how many quarterbacks and offensive linemen go. He's one of the better players, best players in the nation. You're getting a value pick there. The Buffalo Bills are picking first. I'm imagining they're going to go receiver. So you think the likes of Mitchell from Texas? I'm not sure. Look, he's fast, but he's little light in the pants. You get windy up there.
What do you make of Buffalo's night last night?
It was horrible. If I'm Josh, I told you this. Stephon Diggs left, and all my defensive guys are gone. I'm trying to get up out of there. Look, the Vikings and Seattle, I think, called the Chargers. Well, my agent need to call them.
Right.
Straight up. Right now. We knew, not the Vikings, but maybe Seattle or somebody. I got to get up out of there. There's no help for him. And you traded out, you could have got him a first-round receiver. You could have got him somebody. Now, you can get, I think, first-round talents in the second round. But
to trade with Kansas City.
Right. The team that been kicking your butt and taking your heart and and they were getting a receiver. Just helping. Patrick Mahomes is like, thank you very much. And this is what I would do if I was Buffalo. Since the depth of receiver is there, and you've already told everybody you don't want a first. Don't take the best player here on the defensive side of the ball to go with Ed Oliver up front. Why I say this? Okay, Newton, Jazon Newton, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, gives you position flexibility from a pass rusher standpoint. He's a run stopper. You can get him. By all the pre-draft things, he was supposed to go in the first round. And I saw even ones where he's supposed to go top 10. And he had a good pro day. Now, his motor really wasn't running as high as I'd like against Kansas, but he got it going the rest of the season to the Big Ten Player of the Year. And a guy that also really jumps off is Braden Fisk from Florida State, right? You saw Verse go, first round. This dude's the first-round talent there. You can plug and help your defense and try to draft your way into legitimize that defense until you decide to pull the trigger on offense.
So what is your final answer? Do you want to give Josh Allen a receiver because Kansas City got a receiver, or do you want to say, hey, Josh, we'll invest receiver later, but this year we need you to elevate your game, so you might have to do more with a little bit less. We're investing in the defense, then next year we'll go get some skill guys.
Well, the fact that they let all those guys go in the first round lets me know that you don't really value receiver, and you ain't valuing your quarterback. So you better start. The second round is going to be more defensive guys. So when you look at what you possibly could get, so they're picking at 60, right?
So
And
2 second-round picks.
Yeah. So you could probably get you could maybe trade up. Now I'd do defense first, right? Because you've already played your hand, right? I do defense first. If there's somebody that you think that is worth the first pick, and it's essentially a first round pick. And then later on, like you got to think, you got the likes of Chris Jenkins Jr., right? You got Newman, who we saw from Minnesota. He's a first round safety. You talking about replacing Poyer and all those guys back there? That's the dude right there. You could get Cooper DeJean, right? That could do that. And then you could think that you could get the likes of Roman Wilson later in the round. Later in the round, you can get Keon Coleman, who I really like, big, strong. You can get Troy Franklin. You can get McConkle. So there's going to be guys at 60 that I think you could get. But if Josh Allen called you and he's upset, which he's probably mad, to appease my franchise quarterback, I'm going to get a receiver that I like. But he better be good. It can't be, well, he can't catch. Or he doesn't know, he can't,
limited route tree.
Yeah, limited route tree. You better get the best guy that fits his skill set and your offense, or it's going to be Josh Allen next offseason trying to exit Buffalo pretty quickly.
And there's a very fine line to walk to between placating the quarterback and supporting him, right? You can't just let the quarterback dictate the draft.
But you ain't supporting him.
But that's the thing. Josh Allen can't make the picks, but you have to make the picks around Josh Allen.
Right. And you better, if you're not getting that, then you might want to think about trying to get a lineman, because I think there's still some good linemen out there still. You got the Notre Dame tackle. You got the other Washington tackle that I saw actually in the first round. You got to think,
BYU guy.
Yep. And then also you think you could get Jalen Polk, who had almost a high second round, low first round grade. You're getting the value there.
Polk is very close to Colt, though.
Right.
So.
Still, I mean, you could get a guy who, even if you want to wait to a little bit later at 60, if you go receiver first, you can get Tavondre Sweat, right? Who I think is a first round talent. Just got a DUI, that's why he's still around. You could get Mason Smith, who when you saw a couple years ago when he played in that kickoff game for LSU against Florida State, was flat out unstoppable, and he got hurt on kind of a freak play. He was a redshirt freshman, then he had to come back. So you're getting first round talent there. You keep going. They need offensive line help. They need a little bit of everything. You can get, I would probably say Devontae Walker, but that's a little bit of a stretch. If you want to replenish your linebacker, you can get Peyton Wilson, maybe, if you want to take a stretch at 60. But they got to hit on their second round picks, man, because they go 33, 60, and then they don't pick to 95. If you're picking your receiver at 95, you might as well just go in there and just slap Josh Allen in the face.
That's a project.
Yeah.
At best.
Right.
Speaking of, where does Peyton Wilson play in the NFL? Like, extremely productive college guy. Is he an inside backer, an edge guy? Where do you see him?
Well, I think that's where they're running into trouble. Where you see him, because he's 6'4.5", pretty much 6'5". They got him listed at 233. If you see him play, he looks like he's about 215. You know who he reminds me of is a little bit faster version of my man Tommy Polley, who was a playmaker extraordinaire from Florida State. I think I play him all over, and that's what he did at North Carolina State. Number one, he ran a 4.4, so he's an athlete. So that's number one. So I know he can cover because he's shown he can cover. He can drop. He can blitz. He can run. He can play the run. Don't let what he looks like fool you. And also for these big tight ends, essentially small forwards playing football now, I like that matchup. You don't have to change personnel. You don't have to try to have a little small DB or kind of a hybrid safety linebacker cover him. You got a true linebacker that can body these guys up. If I'm Buffalo, I'm picking that dude. I'm picking him. A little bit of an injury risk, but everybody at this point, when you play linebackers, an injury risk. But they have got to get Josh Allen some help. They got to get some help. And you know what the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for in this is that who's the next quarterback or quarterbacks that go. I want to know where Spencer Rattler goes. I could see the Rams with Sean McVay picking him as a like a just because he likes it. I mean, he's got a good arm. Just needs some coaching. That'd be a great place for him. Not pressure where he's got to play. He could sit there and learn. Does Carolina possibly get a quarterback? Just in case Bryce Young doesn't work out. Highly doubtful. Another thing I'm going to keep a track on, Austin, is how many Michigan players go. Right, they had 18 guys at the combine. Really good team. All of them are NFL players. How many go in these next 2 to 3 rounds, right? Or, fourth round as well, because they were a dominant team. I want to see where these guys go. But what's the next quarterback to go? Will there be a run? Or will people kind of stay pat because now they're scared? They don't want to be the team that takes a second round pick or a third round pick on a quarterback, or does this go defensive heavy? You got to think defensive tackle and defensive players. You got Michael Hall Jr. for Ohio State. That was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jaden Hicks, the safety from Washington State, redshirt sophomore. Problem. You got my man Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan. We'd seen it where he possibly go first round. You're getting value there.
Chris Jenkins is the one that stands out to me.
Yeah,
like that is an athletic marvel.
And he's pro ready.
He is. I hate to throw this comparison on a guy. I don't know if he has quite the pass rush ability of this guy, but size and athletically, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Aaron Donald. I was thinking about. I was thinking about a little bit less athletic version of Christian Wilkins.
Sure.
Sure. But I think also the great thing about their defensive line was so good and they had so much depth. He didn't get a lot of play. So I'm looking at okay, we're getting a first round pick just in the value, but then we're getting a defensive lineman without a lot of tread worn off his tires. And you can still mold him. You know that he has great technique. Yeah. You know he knows how to play the run. And also the thing about him, he's played all 4 positions.
Right.
So now he can help you on the third downs and nickels and dimes and all that stuff. I like him as a pick.
And then safeties.
Yeah.
I haven't had a safety's name called. You mentioned Newbin before, the Utah guy. Man, there's just such a need for those cover safeties. There's got to be a few of them taken.
Yeah,
right?
Newman was projected as thought to be a for sure first round pick. Tested out well, but sometimes what the league is letting you know, the emphasis on safeties is not there. What's the emphasis on? Quarterback play, and they needed linemen, so it's supply and demand. So I think a couple safeties will go. Cole Bishop is a safety from Utah. Plays a ton of positions and is really effective at all 3 levels. So you're getting. And he's going to be excellent on special teams. But Newman should go first, and we'll see what teams talk themselves in and out. Also, Cooper DeJean kind of projects in there because, I don't know whether it's because he's a white dude playing corner. I mean, I'm serious. Like, is he fighting that? I know Riley Moss went, and Sean Payton was steadfast that we're going to play him at corner. He ended up being a safety. But he can flat out play, dude. He's a problem. He's a problem. And he's going to be a great NFL player. And you know what else is going to be interesting? Where does Blake Corum go? Highly productive player.
Is it too simple to slide him into the Austin Eckler role with Harbaugh?
I can see him going. Why wouldn't you? Harbaugh knows him. He won't fumble the ball. He knows how to play for Harbaugh. It's right there, man. I mean, it's this second or third round. I think this is the meat and potatoes of your team. This is how you build a team. You start to hit on some of those guys. You get value picks. Those guys outperform their initial projections, and then you start to really, build your team, like the core of your team, second, third, fourth, and if you get 5th rounders and 6th rounders hit, you've seen Brock Purdy, whether it's Brock Purdy and all that. So Brock Purdy or Tom Brady. So it's going to be interesting. Teams got to make some make up some ground. We're going to take a quick break because we're going to come back and we're going to see, or I want to ask you, Austin, I want you to ponder this. How much pressure are the Atlanta Falcons on, right, to make a good pick? Because no matter what they say inside their building, this pick is not thought of as either smart or effective. The pressure is on them to make up for it and kind of smokescreen, the fans, the prognosticators, and also some of the other people across the league as well. So Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, quick break, and then we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 30th is buy one, get one free on New York strips, limit 4 per visit. Also 15% off koozie chips and nuts. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made is going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry.
This deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska's always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Koppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com. Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton, Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. Again, hopefully the worst is over. Thoughts and prayers for everybody affected by the tornado. Getting calls and texts from everybody. Appreciate everybody stepping or for checking in on us. like I said, you just never know. You know, you always think like the weatherman's never right. This time he was right. It's one of the worst in U.S. history. So Nebraska's tough, and we'll battle through it. Hopefully, everybody made it through okay, and they're not affected. But that being said, I asked Austin Orman about the tornado that Atlanta started last night by picking Michael Penix Jr. I want to ask you, how much pressure is Fontenot on to hit on these next picks? Because
does it matter? I think it's a dead man walking. So there might honestly be no pressure.
Yeah, but for him to save his job, the best thing that can happen is Kirk Cousins plays well because he can take credit for bringing him in. And say Michael Penix Jr. comes in and say Kirk Cousins is a little bit slow coming back from his injury. You got to hit on your second and third round picks. You got 2 in the third round, 74 and 79. They need some help on defense, as I mentioned. Defensive line at the first and second level and linebacker. You got to hit on these guys. You got to get a guy that doesn't have much injury history, that that's going to be effective, that's going to be a plug and play guy with a young coaching staff, and then also with a young team too. They have the number 43 pick. So if you have a position in need that Kirk Cousins is into the second round, 2 in the third round as it sets right now. So you have some bargaining power if there's somebody that you really, really want. What do you think they do?
I wouldn't be shocked if they go get a Chris Jenkins or a Johnny Newton if he's still on the board.
Yeah.
Which that's a weird. It's Jerjon Newton, but he's going by Johnny now.
Right.
That's kind of thrown me all draft process.
Right.
I think they have to go interior defensive line almost. I don't know enough about the linebacker prospects. I'm sure they can take a flyer on someone and get someone, but whether or not, like I was saying before, if he's not a dead man walking, at least you can save some face and say, hey, okay, here's the rationale. You might not agree with the first round pick, but look at my track record in the later rounds. Right. I recovered from it. I put my head down, got back to work, made these good picks. Look how they've developed. So you can't just hold the one pick against me. Look at the whole resume.
Yeah. And overall, he's, drafted well, generally. Yeah, he's drafted well, and free agent well. And so, you just got to make sure that you hit on these next ones because everybody's going to be watching because of, the Michael Penix Jr. pick, and it was just way out of left field. I think that there's plenty of interior defensive line. You want, if there's somebody that you really like, I'd get him at 43. Then I would look the corner. Or I would go corner and then defensive line, interior defensive lineman. Essentially, your next pick, your first pick is going to be essentially your first round pick. So, your best player on defense at the second level was Troy Anderson, who came in. He was a surprise. He was a surprise last year from Montana State. And then you got a bunch of different guys. And so the Edgerrin Cooper is a linebacker from Texas A&M that has a high enough grade that he was thought about to possibly go late first round. So early second, it wouldn't be a stretch. I think for this team here in Atlanta with 3 picks in the second, third round, it's got to be defense, defense, defense. So you'd be good to, however you want to mix it up, second level, first level, outside, you got to get it done.
You absolutely do, because if Kirk Cousins comes back ready to roll, he's going to elevate those skill position guys.
Right.
He is. If he's not ready to roll and there's an acclimation period, okay, you expect that. Maybe it's Penix Jr. doing that. But I think we can agree that either one of those guys is going to be better than Ritter's been the last couple of years.
Yeah,
than Mariota was, for the most part. So I'm willing to believe that the skill positions don't have to get better to improve just with better quarterback play. So yeah, go get defense, shore that up and say, hey, this NFC South is a rotating door. Why can't it be our turn again?
Yeah, and it's every year it's a different team, and this is the team that possibly that could do it, especially offensively. You got Nate Landman, who was he was a free agent when they picked him up. Now he's a restricted free agent, so you've been able to free agent or late round draft pick guys, and so you could maybe hold off on linebacker just because the inside is taken care of. But you better get interior defensive line help, and you better get corner help. There's Kool-Aid McKinstry. There's a ton of guys out there you cannot miss. And if you want to keep your job, you got to hit on these guys, because when you draft a quarterback, you expect them not to play, right? Or be
especially now.
Especially now. So you got to hit on the guys that you can play. And if you sold your plan to get it to where Arthur Blank is not firing you yet, you've got to be able to have the safest pick. And the safest picks come from the biggest, the Michigan or Ohio State. You think about Michael Hall Jr., you think about Chris Jenkins Jr. Those guys are safe picks. They're plug and play guys. They'll be productive. They'll be good locker room guys. It'll probably ease the bourbon that Arthur Blank has probably drank all night and worrying about whether, it was the right move to draft Michael Penix Jr. But tune in and also tune in to DP, Coach Renee Saunders, pregame show starting at 7:30, first serve at 8:30 on CBS tonight, national TV, Omaha Supernovas. But more importantly, we're the flagship station for the Supernovas. Pregame show at 7:30, first serve at 8:30. Tune in and listen, because it's always a great call with DP and Coach Renee Saunders. But for Austin Orman, I'm Jay Foreman. Have a great weekend. Big spring game tomorrow. We'll talk to you, and we'll have plenty of people on starting at 8 o'clock all the way to 11. Feel free to stop down as well. Down here, the ticket, 1040 O Street. We'll holler at you.
This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon reminding you to vote for my friend and colleague, Carolyn Bozin. Carolyn Bozin is a strong voice for Lincoln, who we need representing us in the legislature. Carolyn Bozin voted for historic funding for education to support our schools and for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Carolyn Bozin is the voice we need representing us in the legislature. This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon. Join me in supporting Carolyn Bozin for legislature on May